observations regarding what the congressman from Georgia said before.
Yes.
Gee, I'm glad we got people like him. Number one, I would like to know why this is not front-page stuff, why there is no publicity regarding these contracts found on Grenada.
I disagree with you, Tony, because I think I know the addle-brained, idealistic, ultra-radical in this country. I'll go along with the congressman, not even call them liberal. The arrogance that they have is so great that they really do believe if you pat a lion on the neck, you can turn him into a lamb. They really believe that.
When that fellow Frank before, and the one about the UN, believe me, Frank could not have put it better. But you know, this type of weasel that you spoke to before, this type of guy, he's a professional victim. We have a lot of these people around. And you know, the underlying reason for their thinking is goes in either one of two directions. Number one, deep down inside, they don't really care who rules. You see, they have no great ambitions in life. They have no dreams, no aspirations. They just want to eat, watch TV, have sex, and sleep. So they don't care if we have communism.
I'm not so sure about the sex part.
Well, the sex part, I think they're the type that like to get whipped. They sound like very submissive type.
Well, the guy's a masochist, there's no doubt about it. Whether it extends to his sexual preference, I don't know.
Well, he tipped himself off, you know, when he claimed that you were very macho. Macho simply means manly, masculine. There's nothing wrong with being macho. And this type, of course, was a more effeminate type. I could probably describe what he looks like. He's very slight and weakling type, you know, and there's a lot of them like that. But they really don't care who rules. This is the underlying factor. They know what we have to do to keep the Russians off our back, but they don't really give a damn. They just as soon have anybody, so they think. Of course, if the Russians took over, it would be a different story. That boob would have to go to work. And I would like to say that these are the people that are really, if there is, God forbid, going to be a war, these are the very people that are going to bring it on, because the Russians don't give a good damn whether we want peace or not. They couldn't care less. If they see that they can drop that bomb and get away with it, they will do it. So these people screaming peace, they're only encouraging them. If they would stand firm in this country, as you've said many times, or implied, if they would stand firm and take the attitude, hey, look, pal, you want to die? So am I. It's okay with me. It would never happen. We never have a war. It's disarmament on one side, meaning ours. We are going to have a war, and we're going to have it sure as hell. And these people are bringing on the very war they claim they're trying to avoid. And they are a danger in this country. As I said, they are professional victims. I would never would have considered going to war with the United States, no matter what. There's only one man now that I think, this is all my opinion, God, I hope I'm wrong, there's only one man, and that's Gromyko, who was very familiar with the United States and is telling these people, look, again, don't underestimate the United States. And when he goes, and I think he's going to go within the next few months or a year, they'll see to that.
I hope you're right. I look forward to the day that skunk croaks.
Well, yes, I don't like him either, Bob. I don't like him either.
Tony, you're not making any sense. You're sounding like a hysterical old lady. No, better yet, Tony, in all honesty, you're sounding like a gavone who's trying to sound like he's informed. Tony, the point you miss is that, hey, get off the phone, you windbag. For heaven's sake.
From Brooklyn, regarding Mr. Horn, Bob, earlier tonight, it was pointed out on TV News, Channel 7, that the flag being waved by Columbia University students opposed to apartheid is a South African Communist Party flag. Now, he didn't mention that. The man is a fraud. He's a low-life communist pig, and I would like to do the sign-off.
All right. Go ahead. Do the sign-off.
Well, you've got to start it off.
Okay. Tell him, Bob, I'm glad reminding you. Your influence counts. Use it.
Get the Columbia Communist demonstrators. This man, Bork, is much too intelligent for the people who are questioning him. I noticed that the swimmer, Mr. Kennedy, whenever someone came out in favor of Bork, he disappeared. Now, you know, this man's arrogance can only be measured by his cowardice. He disappeared every time someone came out in favor of Bork.
Maybe he was looking for his cousin Joe Gergen to take his seat.
You know, and I noticed Biden got mellow. He must have got so much mail. He's crippled as it is for the presidency, but he got so much mail against him that he seemed to mellow a little bit, but it's only an act. He's still a snake.
That's right.
Now, about prejudice, why we never talk about why people are prejudiced in the sense that we do not give specifics. Let me give the people out there some specifics as to why people are prejudiced. You know, when these minorities invade an area, all of a sudden, for one thing, the phones don't work. They put chewing gum in the return slot. They walk around with those dumb radios blasting all day long, all hours of the day. Even the fast food restaurants, you know, Bob, they no longer put out the sugar and ketchup on the tables because they take them home. They congregate like a small army of baboons in front of business establishments. They're loud, they're boisterous, they're filthy in the way they talk. And these are some of the reasons why people are prejudiced. There's a reason when someone is prejudiced. Not because of the color of the skin, or because of where they come from, or religious denomination, or nationality. It's because of how a good number of people of one particular group act. That's not to condemn the decent people, of course. And we know we've got filthy whites out there, too. But percentage-wise, these people are right up there in the 80s.
Well, I think the problem is a person should be judged not on what they look like, but on how they act.
Right.
And if a person acts the way you describe, then we should have the right to avoid them without being called bigots. And that is my argument. That is what drives me up a wall.
You see, I go a step further. I say, yes, I am prejudiced. I'm against prejudice. I'm prejudiced against people who do these things. So if you do these things, I am against you.
All right, Tony. Thank you for the call. Tony checking in right now. Hello, Tony.
Hello, Bob. Tony from Brooklyn here.
Yes.
You know, Bob, I agree with you that a sit-down between Arabs and Jews would probably be productive. If not in substance, then certainly in spirit. But I want to say this in defense of Israel. Since the state of Israel was formed in 1948, the Arabs have terrorized the Israelis at every opportunity. They've shot them, they've stabbed them, they've bombed them, and God knows what else they've done. So frankly, I really don't get excited when the Israelis fight back, when they get trigger happy, when they get just plain fed up with some of these savages surrounding them, and I don't blame them one bit. After all, Israel won 4 or 5 wars, but Israel cannot afford to lose one war. If they lose one war, they are finished. I say let them handle their own destiny. I'm sure they know exactly what to do in their own interest. They have smart, pragmatic leaders. And I wish that some of our leaders were
I'm not so sure they're pragmatic. The pragmatists are found in the Labor Party, but you don't know much about Israeli politics if you say they have pragmatic leaders. One of the big criticisms of the Shamir government is they're not pragmatic. They have held to a hard and fast line. They've held to it consistently. They haven't changed. They will not talk with Palestinians unless they can select in advance the Palestinians they want to talk to. It's very difficult for one side to say, okay, you can pick our team, and you can choose our lineup, and then we'll sit down with you. That's very difficult.
You know, though, Bob, if you look on the map...
But you know, Tony, you see, what you're betraying here is you have a hardline posture, no matter what it is. You've been wanting us to drop bombs on the Kremlin. Every time I turn around, the rare times you call, you just say, I don't know if you're a violent person by nature or what, but you seem to like violence.
I never said to drop bombs on the Kremlin.
No.
What are you talking about?
Oh, okay.
I never said that.
Well,
I said we should take a stance with the Kremlin.
Everything is a stance.
Well,
everything is a stance.
Everything is a stance.
Yeah, you call people savages. Are they all savages over there, those
Most of them
Palestinians?
are, yes. You can
Really?
see what happened in this last war. They are savages.
Most of the Palestinians living in...
You're dead right. Yes, the hell they are. That's right.
I see. I didn't know you were on any of those trips I took to Israel. I didn't see you you there, Tony? Were you on my right side or my left side? Were you standing in back of me or in front of me?
You're very clever, but you know...
No, I'm not clever at all. It's just when a gavone shoots off his mouth, he makes a fool of himself.
Then you shouldn't talk, because you're a first-class gavone yourself. You're so dumb, it's pathetic, you know?
Really,
yeah,
Tony?
Get off the phone.
Yeah.
I'm hanging up.
Oh, where did you get that line, Tony? If Tony ever clears up his adenoids, he can call again. In the meantime, it's 16 minutes before 6 o'clock.
Is that Christ was not really born on December 25th. It doesn't matter when Christ was born, because no one knows the exact date anyway. That's not the point. December 25th is the day that Christianity has decided upon, and that's fine with me. And I say to the people out there who delight in bashing the church, if you don't believe in Christmas, don't celebrate it, but leave the rest of us alone. We Christians have our beliefs.
No, you got the wrong idea, pal. Tony, you've misinterpreted. You've misinterpreted. It isn't a question of bashing Christmas for any Christian ramifications. Matter of fact, the bashing, at least as it's come from me, and I have to feel that you're criticizing me along with the others.
You're included.
Yeah, but you haven't been listening. I'm bashing the hypocrisy of it all. I'm bashing the falsity of it all. I'm bashing the fact that Christmas is not supposed to be represented by Santa Claus and reindeer and all of that other stuff. That's pagan.
What you're saying may be right, but you see, it doesn't come across that way. It doesn't come across
that way. Well, to you. It's all subjective.
No, to most people, Bob.
Well, most people have not felt that way. Most people seem to understand what I'm saying.
We have never had this type of thing before. Never.
Never had what type of thing?
This type of bashing of Christianity.
I don't think Christianity is being bashed.
Of course it is.
Really?
Of course it is.
Tony, you're a bit on the paranoid side.
I'm not paranoid. You're not receptive enough.
Hey, Tony, you want to know something? I read a book once that reminds me of you. The title of the book is The Ignorance of Certainty. You are so certain about things all the time.
Well,
it wasn't 2 years ago. It wasn't too long ago. You were saying that Gorbachev was going to try to bury us the same way Khrushchev did.
I never said that.
No, you never said that, huh?
No.
You're the guy that the Soviet Union was going to wipe us out. We had to be careful of the Soviet Union.
I never said that.
By foot, I remember.
Never said that.
You think I could forget your adenoids? Cut it out, Tony.
Said that, you
Cut it out. Cut it out, Tony.
You know, if your IQ was a point higher, maybe you'd be a friend. You are so stupid.
Tony, you sound like a real Christian now.
I am.
I have to laugh at gavone. I have to laugh at gavone hypocrites like you. You call professing you're such a Christian. It didn't take long for you to start calling me names, did it?
Well, of course not. We're not to fight back, you know. We're not supposed to turn the other cheek all the time.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You've never turned the other cheek once in your life.
You're a pompous ass.
Yeah, and what are you? You're a nothing. You're a nothing. You're a loser, Tony.
That's what you are. You're a traitor to your church.
A traitor?
Yes.
To my church? Because I don't like the hypocrisy involved? That makes me a traitor to my church? Get off my phone, you schibboos. Don't call me anymore, you fake, phony fraud. And he's a coward, too. He wouldn't criticize me directly. He said, I want to criticize these people bashing Christianity. And I had to remind him that he's also criticizing me. He said, yeah, that goes for you. Yeah, fake, Tony. Tony, hello.
Bob Grant, speaking for myself as well as for many people I know who feel as I do, I must tell you how outraged I was when you were refused the award for excellence in broadcasting. You know, Bob, I'm sure that a handful of leftist activists must have made 20 or 30 calls each to Rizzo's office so as to imply that a majority of people were against you. Of course, we know what happened. He got diarrhea and he folded up. You know, this is the way these running dogs operate. You're 100% right. They will do anything to advance their retarded Bolshevik ideas, even if 99% of the people are against them, because they don't give a damn what the people think or want. They don't care as long as it's their way. Rule or ruin, that's their motto. And as for the Jackie Mason show, at least it gave the American people a close look at the Bolshevik retards who control the media. This lesbian Gelb of the New York Times, his papa's ads, the slob who doesn't own a tie, Jack Newfield, the others, the Marvin Kitmans, the Murray Kemptons, all America haters. Not one of them, Bob, could shine your shoes, let alone wipe your nose, if you know what I mean. A disgrace. Mario Cuomo was the only Bolshevik missing from that group. You know, Bob, our guys didn't fight in World War II so that the likes of this Bolshevik crap could screw up our kids and sell our country and values down the drain. They didn't fight so that their children could be bussed out of their neighborhoods to mix with other races so as to fill a quota. Our guys that are laying in the hospitals with no arms and no legs and that are blind, they must feel betrayed by these professional traders who have been allowed to infiltrate our media and our institutions and our schools. And I'd like to know, where the hell are the veterans organizations? Where's the VFW? Where's the American Legion? Where are the churches? Where's the counterattack, damn it? Where is it? Or have these organizations also been infiltrated by this cowardly scum and neutralized?
Well, they've been neutralized. They've been neutralized for a whole host of reasons, or throughout a whole host of reasons. I want to get back to something you said about the Jackie Mason show. Apparently, the ratings were excellent. A lot of people were watching that program.
Because you were on it.
Well, a lot of people were watching because of me. A lot of people were watching for other reasons. But I want to point this out. So many individuals said, Bob, we couldn't believe we saw you sitting there right in the prominent seat, right there at the stage, and you never said anything. Well, that made me feel bad because I said several things.
Yeah, they cut you out.
However, they cut me out. They taped well over 90 minutes worth, and the airtime minus commercials was 1 hour. I did remonstrate with Leslie Gelb when he made a totally absurd statement, and I got just a little ripple of applause when I made the statement, but that, of course, was cut out. So, Tony, you didn't see it, nor did anybody else.
Bob, let me tell you something. Leslie Gelb, he showed his colors, and Jackie Mason caught it, and he made a fool out of him because he said to him, in other words, let's throw out the Constitution, let's throw out the Bill of Rights, let's let you decide what's good for the people because the people are too stupid. Boy, did he hit the nail on the head.
Well, that's because Leslie Gelb is typical of the elitist, arrogant attitude that they have over at the New York Times.
Keep attacking these dogs. People are with you. As far as you're concerned, Bob Grant, let me tell you, you got our award. Still let me talk. You know what, these people, if you go against them for one thing that's not politically correct, people will never hear from you again.
That's true.
They'll cut you out. And, Bob, it's time that people got angry, very angry, because these people are taking our country from under our nose. And less than 100 to 1% of the population should not be able to do this to the rest of us. I say counterattack and get goddamn mad with these people.
All right, Tony, thank you for the call.
Thank you.
Alec of Brooklyn, hello.
Hello, Bob. It was great that you had General Haig on. The man is brilliant. He always was. And that other idiot that called, he should be put in shackles.
Example, this big fat tub of lard by the name of Gerald Nadler, this guy that looks like he weighs in at 420 pounds standing on 1 foot. You don't know who he is, do you?
No.
Okay, he's going to be the successor to that anti-American scumbag, Ted Weiss. Okay.
Oh, yeah, that Upper West Side crowd that's ruining this country.
Yeah, where they really shouldn't even have a general election because to be the Democrat nominee is tantamount to election.
Bob, I think 90% of the Bolsheviks are in that one particular West Side area.
Now let me conclude my remarks because it's intended to answer your question. Now, the reason, at this point in time anyway, it's so pointless to try to do what you suggest is this. Some amateur on Channel 4 by the name of Matt Lauer asked him, no, maybe it wasn't. No, it was another amateur by the name of Maury Alter on Channel 2. That's right. A guy that looks as though he really was on his way to Nathan's to get a hot dog, and he walked into his studio and they said, "Here, we're going to put you on the air." You know. Anyway, this Maury Alter asked this question. Well, Mr. Nadler, you have the nomination now to succeed Ted Weiss, but in so getting the nomination, three women were defeated: Ronnie Eldridge, Bella Bellows Abzug, and Mrs. Weiss. Now, how do you feel about that? How do you feel about defeating them? Instead of saying, "Hey, look, I was a candidate. They thought I was the best candidate," he says, "Well, they shouldn't feel bad because I've been working for women's rights all my career." And you know, he brown-nosed for about 3 minutes the so-called women's movement.
Yes.
Now, as long as you have castrated eunuchs, which is a redundancy, as long as you have eunuchs like Nadler,
of course,
paying homage to, quote, the women's movement, you're going to have this. Thank you, Tony.
His Bolshevik ilk, that's the way they are. They're all eunuchs. They should kick these women the hell out. I love women, but feminists to me are not women.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, got it. Tony. He wants to put a guy in shackles. I don't know who that was. I love it.
Bob, you know, you're the only one on the air that really makes sense. You've got jackasses that come on before you, and you got jackasses after you. Believe me, you're the only one that has a steady opinion. Bob, I called about the New York Post today. Now,
yeah.
I take issue with today's disgraceful New York Post. First of all, the headlines read, "Double Trouble," referring to the Perot and Clinton attacks on President Bush.
Yes.
They should have read, "Bush clobbers Clinton." That's the way it should have read.
Yes.
Now, President Bush, Bob, he won the debate hands down.
Yes.
The president was brilliant, absolutely brilliant, with a generally low-key demeanor, which really is the sign of class, as you have repeatedly said, as opposed to the sloganeering Bolsheviks or the loudmouth capitalists. So what did the Post do? First, their dumb editorial reads on the inside, "Welcome Commissioner Kelly," referring to this new jackass appointed by the almost mayor.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
we have the following parade of jackasses today in the Post blasting the president. The great dingbat without a brain, Amy Dumbhead Pagnozzi. And after seeing her husband the other day on TV, I can understand why she's stunada. And the cowardly Bolshevik, Jack Newfield, the bearded freak, Pete Hamill, and who's the other one? Carl Rowan, the guy without even half a brain. So much for the independent thinking, right-wing leaning Post. Baloney. And with all the leftists, Bob, calling for investigations, not that they have any substance, but intended only to keep the government off balance instead of concentrating on important matters while we are in the investigating mood. Why not investigate President Kennedy when he sent those brave Cuban exiles to invade the Bay of Pigs, promising air support, and then withholding it, Bob, leaving them on the beaches to be slaughtered? Where's the investigation? How about LBJ, who pressed the Vietnam War with no intention of winning? Where's the investigation? Or Roosevelt regarding Pearl Harbor? Or Truman prolonging the Korean War because he refused to listen to General Douglas MacArthur? Where's the investigation? You know, isn't it strange that only Republicans are eligible for investigations? And if I had no party affiliations at all, I would vote for President Bush just to spite this dumb leftist media.
Tony, very well spoken. One of your best perorations. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob. Hello, Bob. Tony from Brooklyn here.
Yes. How did you like the professor from Ghana we just had on?
Interesting, yes. Very interesting. He should teach some of the black militants here a lesson from
Well, you know, he'll never appear on Like It Is with Gil Noble. He'll never be on that show.
Of course not. He doesn't have that leftist streak.
He doesn't have that white-hating agenda.
Yes, yes. You know, Bob, you're absolutely right. In the past few days, I've been hearing mixed opinions from certain black militants regarding our troops in Somalia. On the one hand, it was said that finally, get that, the United States is helping a black nation. Then it was said that many black leaders, and I put that in quotes, feared American colonialism. And on another occasion, the communist rag Newsday claimed that we may be too late with our help. Well, I have three things to say to the black Bolshevist fifth column in this country, Bob. Number one, we helped the black nations of the world, as well as all nations, when our GIs, 99% white, defeated Hitler and Japan in World War II. Hitler and Tojo regarded blacks as the lowest people on earth. And were it not for white America, they would have been made fertilizer. Number two, as far as our colonial intentions, this is nonsense. These people wish, Bob, they wish America would colonize them. But not to worry. We're not interested. If we were colonialists, we would have held the Philippines. And number three, we've been helping Somalia and other African nations for years. This is nothing new. We've been helping them for years with food and medicine. And I wonder why our troops continue giving them food and medicine. Yes, but why subject American troops to disease we haven't even named yet, not to mention any military surprises? Why not African troops? Are these people completely helpless, for God's sake? Must we forever have this burden, this ungrateful burden, especially these black American militants who bite the hand that feeds them? And by the way, Bob, this drug that they chew, one black man said that the Somalians chew the leaf to alleviate hunger pains. Now, let me tell you, the fact is that the ones chewing the leaf, because the others can't afford it, are the ones that are doing the robbing, are the ones that have the food, are the ones that have the guns. They're the ones that are chewing the leaves, not those poor souls that are starving.
Absolutely, Tony. You are right on target, 100%. You hit the bullseye, and I thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, John. You're on WABC.
Yeah, it's amazing. You think Tony hit the bullseye. That's absolute nonsense. You know, Bob...
What did he say? That was absolute nonsense.
Yeah, it was. Bob, let me explain something to you. For many years now, black leadership, or whatever you want to call it, intelligent, educated blacks have been speaking out against atrocities in Africa committed by blacks as well. To name just a few, Dr. Ben Yakin, Jesse Jackson, Alambe
Jesse Jackson,
John Henry, let me finish, Bob.
No, you're dead wrong. Jesse Jackson hasn't said a word about that.
No, you haven't heard him say a word because you're not listening, Bob.
You're not listening?
Let me finish, Bob. John Henry Clark, Leonard Jeffries, they've been speaking out against the likes of Jonas Savimbi, Idi Amin.
Jonas Savimbi.
It's Tony checking in on the line from Brooklyn. Hello, Tony.
Hello, Bob. The Carmichael that fellow was referring to was Stokely Carmichael. That was his dumb name.
Yeah, but I don't remember him getting involved in politics. I don't recall. I don't recall Stokely Carmichael getting involved in politics.
I don't recall either. Bob, I wanted to make three quick points. The first one about the Liberators. You know, that invention of the social engineers who are changing history after almost 50 years. You know, Bob, the Jewish financial support for black causes has dropped drastically in the past few months. So Jesse Jackson, Dinkins, Rangel, and the other assorted black non-leaders devised this fraud to induce the Jewish population to continue financial support. And that's all they really want. This healing talk is nonsense. They have an agenda. They have a plan. What they're telling the Jewish people is, keep supporting us financially or you won't have any peace. That's the message. Now, of course, there won't be any peace in any event until the militants are slapped down hard in this country. I think Israel should be supported 100% for kicking out the Palestinian troublemakers, and they should continue doing so with other groups. We could use a lot of house cleaning in this country also. At least they have the courage.
Of course, they're a smaller country, but at least they've got the courage. We should leave them alone, let them take care of their own country. They know what they're doing better than we do.
All right, Tony, thank you.
Thank you.
Tony, WABC, hello.
Hello, Bob. Before I get to Iraq, I want to say that those two jokers that called after the general was speaking, this is the problem with our country. These people that dissect everything we do. And they're not men, Bob. They're males. There's a difference between a male and a man. And I would not go so far as to call them men. Now, let me give you a...
That's a good point, Tony. I accept that.
Okay. Let me give you a Tony from Brooklyn solution to the Iraqi crisis. Again, leaflets over Baghdad advising the people to get out of Baghdad within 48 hours, at which time Baghdad will be turned into a parking lot unless Saddam surrenders himself. Now, that would be putting him on the spot with his people, because they'd say, hey, you'd rather get us bombed when all you have to do is surrender and you'll spare the city? But you see, we don't operate like that. We've got a bunch of jerks in the White House right now. We've got a bunch of bigger jerks coming in, and I think it's a hopeless case. And I think that if we follow these 3 points, though, somewhere along the line, the military or the people will get rid of him. Blame Clinton for sending his daughter to private school after seeing what happened to Carter's daughter, Amy, who went to public school and turned out something less than a rag. Thank you, Bob Grant.
All right, Tony, all right.
Something that they know nothing about, these damn fools. You know, Bob, it's completely insane to formally have gays in the military. Absolutely insane. Personally, I'd like to see them get off this planet. But I have ambivalent feelings, because I know what would happen to them once the other outraged men in the service got hold of them. There would be many, quote, missing in action, unquote. And one point that hasn't been addressed, if a man was wounded, Bob, in combat and needed a transfusion from another man, what then? There would be the fear that the other man was gay and therefore probably HIV positive. Now, you know, what selfish fools these politicians are in this country. There's nothing more stressing than being in combat. And here they are, giving our boys even more stress. These pigs, these twisted scum. Or are these policies intentional to destroy America? I wonder about that. And what propaganda we're being subjected to. We hear that the European nations, except the British, formally have gays in the military, so why not America? Did it ever occur to these pigs that these European armies aren't worth a damn? They're weak. They're nothing more than a weak police force, period. Whereas we have the greatest military machine that has ever been created in the history of this world. And they want to destroy it. And we've heard that the huge French armies collapsed in 6 weeks during World War II, when Germany invaded. Has anyone ever mentioned the fact that the French armies consisted of approximately 20% gays? Now, why isn't this talked about? It never was. A chain is as strong as its weakest link, Bob, as you know, and the gays were the weakest. Now, you know, Bob Grant, if religion did not exist, let's assume there was no such thing as religion. It's obvious that it's perversion. Period. And that case is closed. They're telling us that heterosexuals, which I call normal people, by the way, now also have AIDS. Sure. But the homos originally started it and have infected the whole human race through their homosexual and bisexual behavior. And you know, Bob, Senator D'Amato disgraced us, regardless of political considerations. After all, he's in for 6 years, and he's retiring after that. He did not have to pander to them. I only wish that General Colin Powell could go on the air, on television, and talk directly to the American people this week. Because, Bob Grant, these people need the iron fist. They really do, and they need it now. And, oh, my relief that Barbara Streisand is not running for senator. Wow. Why not Pee Wee Herman? as chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. That might not be an idea for President Hillary.
All right, Tony, you're in good form, and I thank you for the call.
Thank you, Bob.
I called about Giuliani. Bob, I'd like to make reference to the article in today's Newsday, the successor to the Communist Daily Worker, by the male dingbat Robert Reno. Now, we all know who he is.
Yeah, he's a cousin of that douchebag in the
other dingbat attorney, non-general Janet Reno.
Right.
That's right.
Right.
Now this malignant, mental non-giant, Robert Reno, clobbers Giuliani for not running an intelligent campaign. Now get that, for not running an intelligent campaign. The implication, I must conclude, is that David Dinkins is running an intelligent campaign. Now, anyone who concludes that David Dinkins is intelligent in any way has to have his head examined. And having read previous articles, Bob, by the fool Robert Reno, I must come to the conclusion that really he is in need of desperate psychiatric care. Now, this bum, Reno, who puts down Giuliani, really could not shine Giuliani's shoes. This bum, Robert Reno, represents the scum and the masters of deceit presently in power in this country. He represents the masters of disinformation who, I'm sure, Bob, will come out with some falsehood about Giuliani a couple of days before the election, and after the election, they'll apologize, maybe. Bob, we've got our work cut out for us. We're in very serious trouble, as you say, because these people, for the next 3.5 years, are going to ruin this country completely. It's going to be irreparable. And one aside, nothing to do with what I just said, I think we should all remember, let's not call our president Hillary Rodham Clinton, but let's call her Mrs. Bill Clinton, because that'll rattle her leftist, feminist lumbago. Thank you, Bob.
All right, Tony, thank you. Is Tony checking in? Hello, Tony.
Hello, Bob. Outrageous verdict. Bob, although Mr. Bobbitt was a pig, this verdict was completely wrong. She had options and could have left this pig. And there are other factors. Consider these three. Number one, she stole over $7,000 from her employer, another woman. Yet this woman, her employer, supported her throughout the trial. She was there every day and completely disregarded the $7,000 stolen by this sultry-eyed bitch who fooled everyone at the trial. Now, could these two women be bisexual? Could they be lovers? Could this have affected his behavior in the marriage? Now, I think it's worth looking into. Now, point two. This woman, Bobbitt, had a low mentality. I would like to see a quiet, low-profile investigation to see if she was connected to any women's group, most of which are lesbian man-haters. And point three, the sick, perverted media is trying to start something here which is going to backfire on innocent women. They should remember that during World War II, the Germans did not use poison gas because we also had it. In other words, what can happen to the goose can also happen to the gander. Now, Bob, this is another Bolshevik push to bring this country down. And I say, starting now, let's start kicking these feminist dogs in the ass and kick them hard. And it's time to get out the baseball bats against these bastards, because they deserve beatings. Every goddamn one of them have to be beaten to a pulp.
Wow.
And that's what we should do today, tonight, now. Let's get after these dogs and break their ass for them.
Well, I've not going around doing that, but
I know you can't talk about it.
No, I don't. I just don't think in those terms, but thank you, Tony.
Well, you have to. You have to.
On WABC, that's the intellectual approach is taken by Tony from Brooklyn.
Before I get to Zaire, Bob, I want to say that I despise President Clinton, and I can't stand her husband either. And I frankly resent the newspapers, media, TV, constantly walking in lockstep, addressing her at every turn as Hillary Rodham Clinton. You know, let's all cut out this nonsense, which gives her an exaggerated air of importance, and refer to her simply as Mrs. Clinton. Let's cut out the Rodham nonsense. Now, changing the subject, I would like to know when people from Zaire and adjacent countries are going to be forbidden to enter this country. But must we all get the plague here before they're kept out? How about putting the spotlight on the people in immigration responsible for this inaction? How about giving their names and addresses every day on the radio, on every station, so that if anyone gets the plague, they'll know exactly who to hold responsible. And you know, Bob, with this overall leftist onslaught, they're pushing so hard to communize this great America. I have a fantasy about this. If they ever take over, I could see them taking the Hollywood lefties, the Kunzlers, the Ramsey Clarks, the black militants, the lefty reporters, and all the other Bolsheviks, and lining them up against the wall. And just before they open fire, they tell them, fellow comrades, we appreciate the efforts you've made in helping us take over America. But unfortunately, we have to shoot you all because you had it very good under the free enterprise system, and you were always complaining and agitating. Now, under our rule, you won't have it 10% as good as you had it. So die proudly, having helped the communist cause. Bang.
That sounds like the alleged salute of the gladiators to the Roman emperors.
That's right.
We who are about to die salute you.
That's exactly right.
Is that something?
Yes. And Bob, you know, I'm going to tell you, really, they are going to be the first to die because they agitated against the free enterprise system. If the communists ever took over, they are going to agitate against them. The same thing.
Well, what you're saying is they would know who the troublemakers are, and they would rid themselves of the troublemakers before anything else, which, of course, traditionally these tyrannical dictators do each and every time they take power. Now, you mentioned Zaire before, I believe.
Yes.
And, of course, this Ebola virus is obviously very deadly. I see that in Ottawa, Canada, a man suspected of carrying the deadly virus, actually not in Ottawa, but the story came out of Ottawa. He was detained at Toronto's International Airport, placed under quarantine.
Good for them.
Yeah. Now, man was arriving from Zaire, the Canadian health laws, at the International Airport. They're taken to a hospital or other medical facility in Toronto where he will be quarantined for 21 days, which apparently is the incubation time. And also, speaking of Zaire, isn't it amazing? There are people, and they're not Zaireans either. They are Europeans, I suppose, since they're white. They might even be Americans, who in all likelihood will contract the deadly disease because they continue working in the hospital.
Yes.
With individuals who are stricken. Are you aware of that?
Yes.
And that, why isn't there some publicity given to that story?
Bob, we are being invaded by everybody in this country, and I think this is a part of the leftist plan. It is not accidental, because I am a guy that does not believe that anything happens by accident. Everything is orchestrated, and this is part of it. for all we know, these stories are being put out. Like I saw one fellow there that I think in the mail, some fanatic in the mail, he got some cultures.
Oh, yeah.
Did you read that?
Yes.
Yeah. You know,
The guy's been arrested.
Yes. You know, I'm just wondering if a country over there, I always look for these angles, if a country over there is preparing something in the future, and the reason that they're financing all these things is because we'll never suspect it's them. We'll figure it's a fanatic, either a right-wing or a left-wing fanatic, or it's some other nut that's doing this, but not them, because then we won't know who to retaliate against.
Yeah, well, I think you were talking about this guy from Ohio.
Yes.
He was said to be a member of the neo-Nazi group Aryan Nation.
Yes.
And, hey, there are so many wackos out there.
I know.
All you got to do is listen to this program and you hear how violent some people sound, right, Tony?
Believe me, I know exactly what you're talking about. And finally, Bob, people will see through the propaganda, and I think Pat Buchanan is going to make it. I see a Buchanan Dole for president.
Well, that's a long shot bet.
All right?
Thank you, Tony.
He'll make things right.
Well,
Hello, Jay Diamond.
Hi.
You have a great show as usual.
Tony, where have you been?
Long story, Jay.
Tony, I'm not kidding
I
you.
had 2 heart attacks.
Are you kidding me?
No, I'm serious.
Tony, so help me. You can ask anybody who works. I've asked, what is it? Tony mad at me? What happened to Tony? Where's Tony?
No, 3 months ago I had a heart attack, and then I had a second one.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear. Well, God bless you.
I'm still recovering, but I will recover.
I hope it isn't because I got you all riled up so much.
No. No, you've always got a great show.
Okay.
Jay, I called about Ronald Reagan and the deficit, but before I get to that, I want to say that there is nothing dumber in this world than an atheist. They've got to be the dumbest people in the world. Everywhere we look, we're surrounded by God's works, and there is one work that stands out above all of them that completely disproves atheism, and that is reproduction. The fact that we can reproduce.
Hey, watch your mouth.
If an entity was created by accident, it would live and it would die.
You know, Tony, you always make good points, and I'm really happy that you're back, but I'm really sorry to hear that you had so much heart trouble. But I want to tell you, in line with what you say, it seems to me that atheist activists have a lot in common with gay activists. It's not enough that they're gay, and it's not enough that they're atheists. They have to do it in your face.
You're absolutely right.
They have to hurt those who aren't gay or believe in God.
Because they hate themselves.
And that is more a product of their anger than their philosophy.
Absolutely right. You're always on the ball because they hate themselves. Now, getting to the Reagan deficit. First of all, the reason why there was a deficit was because of Jimmy Carter. Jimmy Carter practically destroyed the American military. He reduced the Navy from 750 ships to something like 450 ships. You couldn't get parts for airplanes. Nothing was working right. Everything was wrong. When Reagan came in, he had a very short time to correct things, so he had to cause this deficit to bring the military back up to where it should have been. And in this way, he bankrupted the Russians, they collapsed, and we did not have an atomic war.
Tony, you're a smart man. You make a good point, and I'm grateful for you having reminded us all of that. What's your prognosis? What does the doctor say?
I have to go for a gallbladder operation at the end of January.
Oh,
there's a slight possibility that the gallbladder triggered the attacks. I don't know.
Well, listen, God bless you, Tony, and I'm really grateful that you called up, and I'm going to pray for you.
And please play the music. Drive these godless morons crazy.
You listen here tomorrow. Believe you me, they'll be gasping for atheism.
Drive them nuts. They're too stupid to be able to breathe.
I'm scared to get you too excited, Tony. Listen, you notice I haven't mentioned Sharpton once. I don't want to send you over the edge.
Don't mention him.
All right.
Spoiled Christmas.
All right. Tony, thanks for calling, and God bless you.
Thank you.
Okay. Tony's a great guy. I'm glad he's back. I missed him. The other station, and it meant so much to me. So Tony and all of the people who knew and loved Tony, and you remember his characteristic energy, his vigor when he came on to champion our country and its institutions. Well, Tony was a veteran, and it is Veterans Day, so God bless you, Tony, and God bless the America that you held so dear to your heart. We will all never forget you.